received Christ then.
Well, it was soon after that. Yeah, those words haunted me.
Wow. I want to get back to that story a little bit later. That's pretty interesting. Hey, first of all, we do have a few moments here with Governor Phil Bryant of Mississippi. You may have seen last week where the Religious Freedom Bill was passed into law when it was signed by the governor. And I wanted to ask him about that and maybe some other things, depending on how long we have here. Governor Bryant, you with us?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys?
Doing wonderful.
Doing great.
And are you traveling around the state today, or are you out of state?
Well, I'm on the way to Forest, Mississippi, to break some ground at Raytheon as we expand on that great company there. Some new expansion of our radar systems, the best in the world, made in Forest, Mississippi. But at least I'm home, so I'll be able to visit with the First Lady a little bit tonight, and that's always in order.
Amen. Well, listen, tell us about, you and I were talking last week. I called to congratulate you and thank you for signing the Religious Freedom Bill and making it a law. You mentioned some other good things that had happened the last few months in the Magnolia State that you were proud of. But talk first about this Religious Freedom Bill.
Well, we are proud of that because it mirrors a 1993 act, strangely enough, and I shouldn't say strangely enough, but coincidentally, it was in 1993, the Federal RFRA Act, as we call it, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, was signed into law by Bill Clinton, and because of cases before the United States Supreme Court, one like Employment Division versus Smith in Oregon, that slowly eroded our religious freedoms. And after the signing of that federal act, court case, a later case, actually said states need to adopt Religious Freedoms Act. And basically, the essence of this law says that government should not substantially burden our religious freedoms, the religious exercise of our freedoms without a compelling justification. Now, that, of course, comes from the First Amendment that says Congress shall pass no laws prohibiting the free exercise of religion. So this bill does just simply that. A local government, county government, federal government, state government could not come in and substantially burden our right to exercise our religious freedoms without a strong, compelling reason. And in that is the same language that is written into the 1993 RFRA Act that was signed by voted for by Ted Kennedy, Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Barney Franks, and at that time endorsed by the ACLU. So this is clearly, I would not say simply, but it is simple but profound opportunity for us to protect our religious freedoms in the same way 18 other states have done so.
You know, Governor Bryant, there was a lot of misinformation when this was being discussed in both Kansas and Arizona, very similar types of bills. And I say misinformation because all this law does, and you've spoken to this, is it mirrors the federal law, but this bill is necessary in states like Mississippi because the U.S. Supreme Court has held that the federal Religious Freedom Restoration Act cannot be applied to state and local governments. So in reality, if states want to protect religious freedom, they need to pass a similar RFRA bill because the federal law does not protect on the state and local level.
And that's that is the essence of it. Now, the misunderstanding, I think, unfortunately goes on. There is nothing related to any discrimination whatsoever. It doesn't discriminate against any group, any person, any business. It simply protects business. Should, for example, you want to put a cross in front of your business or hang a Star of David in your window, no government could come in and say, that's against the city ordinance, and so you've got to take it down. Excuse me. There would have to be some very compelling reason, a reason of safety. For example, they may say, well, that cross is too close to the road. It might cause an accident. There'd have to be some compelling reason. But as we said, 18 other states, including states like Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Illinois, where our current president was then a state senator when that bill was passed, it does the exact same thing that Mississippi does. It simply protects religious freedoms. And we must, as often as we can, continue to get that message out there to counter, if you will, the misinformation that is occurring around many parts of the nation.
Governor, I know you got to run, and we appreciate you being on with us explaining that. And again, thank you and the legislators who got this bill passed, and for the reasons Ed just outlined and you just talked about. And it was important that this was done, and just wanted to thank you and have you on to explain it. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I'd love to come back when we have more time. We've got other great bills that we passed that will protect children, the unborn children in this state. So fetal pain bill, for example, that outlaws abortion after 20 weeks, as we know that's when that child feels pain. So some things that are really, I believe, are good for families and good for our faith-based communities and all of Mississippians that are being passed by the Mississippi legislature.
We'll line it up, have you on in a few weeks, and we can explore those things a little bit more.
Sounds great. Thank you guys, and God bless you for what you do.
Thank you, Governor.
Oh, bye-bye.
That's Governor Phil Bryant of Mississippi joining us, and we appreciate him being on. And he is not one to back down to pressure from the politically correct crowd.
They hammered him with it.
They put it, yeah. He is just going to do what he feels is the right thing to do. And he did, and this bill passed, and we're thankful for it here in the state of Mississippi, and hopefully it'll be passed in other states.
I didn't realize 18 other states had passed that, so maybe this is kind of a national movement to...
Well, a lot of attention went to Kansas and to Arizona because the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered, and queer community put the pressure on the governors there and the legislators to not pass the law, and then you see what happened. Governor Jan Brewer, vetoed it. Out there, so they got squeamish, I think, and all this bill is supposed to be able to do, is protect the private, little Christian business person from not having to, the Christian photographer from not having to go do a same-sex wedding.
Right.
If he doesn't want to because of his religious convictions, he shouldn't be compelled to. And so that's what this law is protecting. People's religious freedoms, and also it's common sense to me. Why do you want to force somebody to do something against their religious convictions like that?
And it's also, as the governor said, includes other things.
Yes,
and, lots of churches. Well, I say lots, but there have been a number of churches who have been denied denied building permits because it's zoning laws. They try to keep big churches out, put them in the country, and these kinds of laws also protect churches and individual Christians from having their religious freedoms trampled. So.
Our thanks to Governor Phil Bryant of Mississippi for being on with us this morning.